World War II. 50 million to over 70 million casualties. 4 million Jews killed by the Nazis, or 4.2% of all deaths in World War II. Hitler's belief in religion, belief in strong political power had been a main factor in starting the Holocaust. Hitler had been a big believer of his religion. He had always followed his political thoughts and did what he wanted with his political ideas. He had put both of these together and eventually started the Holocaust. Hitler's father would beat him when he didn't listen or didn't succeed in school. He had wanted to become a monk because of his religion. He wanted to be an artist later in life, but his father wouldn't let him. His father wanted him to join the army. Also, Hitler's belief in democracy was what got him interested in many things that he would do later in life. He ran for president so he could use his power against the Jews. He also ran for chancellor and didn't get that. He started making speeches about democracy and Jews, which gained him support. He used his power to start the Holocaust. In Vienna, he studied a Christian mayor named Karl Lueger. He picked up stereotypes from this mayor. As a kid, Hitler would play a game where he would tell people what to do. He was a much older kid, and he would tell the little kids what to do. Hitler was in the war, and he was awarded the Iron Cross. Hitler had always been in support of religion through his life. While he was a kid, he thought about becoming a monk. As he got older, he thought everybody should have the purity of blood. Purity of blood is the belief of everybody being the same, not being a minority. In this case, it was being a Jew. So if you were a Jew, you didn't have pure blood in the eyes of Hitler's religion. Hitler had bought a house in Vienna because he thought he was going to live there, because he thought he would get into the art school. After he lived there for a while, he started listening and studying the techniques of a Christian mayor named Karl Lueger. With this, he picked up on stereotypes of obsessive anti-Semitism with brutal, violent, and sexual attacks. And he also learned about the purity of blood. Hitler's father always wanted the best for him, so he taught him many things. One of those things was religion. Hitler's father would hit him if he didn't listen or wasn't successful in school. His father wanted him to join the army, but Hitler wanted to become an artist. Hitler had looked up to his father and tried to be like him. That's why he took religion so seriously. While in the army, he would sit in the corner quietly. After hours of silence, he would break out with brutal attacks on Jews and Marxists. Many people thought of him as an odd person or insecure. Hitler had used what he had learned in life to become a very powerful man and to start the Holocaust with his belief in religion and belief in political power. He had then started to take over the Nazis' party, and since they both shared the same ideas, he gained more and more attention and became more popular. This attention started to gain him many spots in Germany's political power. He was chancellor because many people thought he would help them with the crisis they were in. He had been in the army, and they thought that since he was in the army, he would have a better chance of being a political person. This was true because when he came back, he had the Iron Cross. Many people had started to listen to Hitler, and when he made the Nazis have a certain look, he put the Iron Cross on it because it was very prized to him. Since he was in the war, people had started to think of him better. Hitler wanted to be in power, so he told people what they wanted to hear. The time that Hitler grew up influenced him by his political and religion ideas. He took both these and put them together and eventually started the Holocaust. Hitler grew up in a very religious world, and when he was little, he started to pick up on anti-Semitism. As he got older, he started to think that this was the right idea and wanted everyone to be this way. After World War I, he used his power to make everyone think the same way. Eventually, Hitler's anger was put into power and used it against many different people to think about one thing in different ways. Hitler was put in jail for his rebellion against the German leaders. But when he was released from jail, people started to listen to him and believe in him. After he came back from World War I, he was thought of very highly, but they thought he would help Germany with their crisis. He made everyone think one thing. Hitler's part in World War I, his thoughts on religion, and his anger had been one of the main reasons for starting the Holocaust. Hitler had been a strong believer of religion and a strong believer of political power. With these, he eventually started the Holocaust. Hitler had been thrown back and forth through his whole life, but he kept these as main points in his life. Hitler had grown up and become stronger with these ideas. As time went on, he had been beaten and denied through his whole life, but he kept going. If Hitler wasn't beaten as a child, would he have been different? Would he have been listening to his father as much? Would he have started the Holocaust?
Wir wollen nicht lieben und wollen nicht schwindeln. Ich habe deshalb es vor dieses Volk hinzutreten und billige Versprechungen zu geben. In uns selbst allein liegt die Zukunft des deutschen Volkes. Wenn wir selbst dieses deutsche Volk emporführen durch eigene Arbeit, durch eigenen Fleiß, eigene Entschlossenheit, eigenen Trotz, eigene Beharrlichkeit, dann werden wir wieder emporsteigen, genau wie die Väter einst auch Deutschland nicht des Selbst erhielten, sondern selbst den Schaffen mussten.